Alright, we should be back now. I'm gonna try something a little different than I have last few times. I played this game quite a while back on a friend's setup, didn't get a lot of chance to play, and found it to be pretty absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, I was hoping and saving up to do the newest version of the game, Call of the Wild. My system just can't handle it, and with GPU prices being what they are, I won't be able to afford it for quite a while. But in the meantime, this game is epic, and as an avid hunter myself, pretty much awesome. So, this is hunting. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for a white-tailed deer. Right there. How's this? Alright. Now the deer called me over here. So that's where we're going. Let's see. Now I cannot remember for the life of me how to actually use these things. But there we go. Alright. Spraying some air. Alright. So I'm going to be kind of quiet during this. That's just because, like I said, I am an avid hunter. It feels really weird for me to talk and hunt at the same time. But I will try. Alright. My ultimate goal of this stream today is to get a cow elk. But to start, I want to do some tracking. Got my trusty 243 Remington and my magical game tracker. The only thing that's missing from this game is the smells. Nothing like hunting and suddenly catching whiff of what you're after. Get your blood pumping. But the same thing happens in this game that happens in real life. The moment you catch even just the sight of what you're after, your heart gets racing. It's pretty fantastic. So I know I can walk, but I'm creeping. It's how I actually hunt. It's very slow, very deliberate, and methodical. I also find myself doing, even in game, what I actually do in real life. Just be careful and walk around every single stick. I can't help it. This game is epic. And like I said, I've only played it a little bit on a friend's setup quite a while back, and I was kind of just too busy with work and school to really do it, because it's hunting. I love hunting. I will spend hours doing this. Pretty much my favorite thing. Not even the shooting part, it's just hunting, hiking around and actually looking for something epic like deer, elk, or moose. where I live, we have all of them. But someday, I'm hoping to hunt Swedish moose. But who knows when that day will be. I'd love to add it to my regular hunting list. This looks an awful lot like the tutorial area. But what we're going to do is we're going to use this stand here just to take a peek. Now we've got some sign over here. My goal for this, with what I'm doing right now, is to track the same deer 3 times. No. That's deer. I always forget to actually look at the screen, the little one in my hand. So I track quite well. Like I said, the only thing missing is the smell. When you get that close to them and smell them, it smells fantastic. Well, deer smell a little acrid, but I probably spooked it already. And it doesn't look like it's running. Nope. Roaming, heading this way. Alright. I need to actually take this deer. So. There. Hear that? That was a deer call. Apologize if you heard that. My computer is determined, my laptop, which I use to monitor the stream, is determined to do an update, but I have to keep canceling it because I am hunting. Hunting. Hunting is life. Did I see it moving down over here? Pretty sure I did. So. Switch over to binocs. I never actually hunt with binoculars. Where I hunt, it's far too dense. I'm getting excited. Can't help it. We got him going backwards now. And I gotta make sure I didn't spook him. He's not fleeing. Nope. This deer cannot decide which direction it wants to go. Come down here and try to stay out of sight. So I'm not really sure how to use this spray, but I shall try. When I hunt, I don't tend to use any sort of aids. Just me, the wind, and my rifle. That is about it. But I also live in a place where the game aren't very easily spooked. They're not constantly on edge, like in the Midwest and East, Northeast. There we go. Make sure she's actually down. Hate to leave an animal suffering even in a video game. Alright. There's our deer. Let's see how we did. Lungs and liver, it looks like. Yep, lungs and liver. Here it is. Alright, luckily no time. Suffer time. She dropped right away. No, I don't actually have any money for that. Alright. Well, I got my whitetail. Now we're going for the elk, which is what I normally hunt. And we're quite a ways away if I remember what it looked like on the map, from where the elk generally are, which is up here somewhere. So, I got some moving to do. So I'm actually gonna run. Can only do if I'm actually chasing a wounded animal, but it is a game. But you can really spook everything just by running. I mean, this game's amazing. Also not really expecting anybody to actually watch this. It's sort of a personal thing. I highly recommend everybody try it though, if you're ever curious. Yeah. Oh ho ho ho. Oh ho ho. Well, maybe I shouldn't have run already. I just kicked up all these elk. All this sign around here, these little red things. Yep. Whitetail there, it's fleeing. Next one's, yeah. Back to the elk. I think it was this one. Yes. There we go. We're heading unknown direction. Okay, I must have just kicked it up. This looks like elk. It is elk. Would you imagine? I actually know what elk track look like. Considering that's what I usually hunt. Now the thing about elk is they are easily spooked. They are humongous, and they can be the loudest thing in the woods, sounds like a bulldozer going through, or they can be absolutely, utterly dead silent. Like the wind is a million times louder than a quiet elk. It's pretty amazing. Considering how huge they are. And deer just don't have that. They're not that quiet. Elk are. They're huge. So, looks like that was some pretty old game trail since there's no update on my thing. I haven't seen any closed red circles either. Oh, hey Pepper, how's it going? This is, other than the digital aspect and stuff, it's a lot like what hunting really is. A lot of walking through the woods and scanning the horizon and looking for sign. Alright, we got more elk. Let's see if they're any closer. They went that way. I must have kicked them up. Spooked them a little. Let's see over here what we got. More elk. Here, this way now. I have a long time ago, but not for very long. And I played it a little bit yesterday. But I actually do hunt. And so this is pretty, a lot like what it's really like. It's a fantastic game, though. This is just the classic one. My system can't handle the newest version. But this one is still, I mean, pretty epic. The graphics are better definitely on the new one, as would be expected. Let's see what we got here. We have deer. Looks like mule deer. We're not going for mule deer. We're going for the king of the forest. Let's see what this is. You are a running elk, maybe? Oh, white-tailed deer. And that was another deer. Alright. Not hunting deer, though. Hunting elk. This game's not too demanding graphically. It goes down to some pretty low graphics settings, but it might be kind of hard to play. I mean, you don't have to have the trees looking half decent. The older one is, the lower settings is what I ran those last night and it worked just fine. And then I found the control settings and cranked them to max. Because, you know, gotta stream the glory. Alright, now we're back on. There's another deer. Yep. No, right now I'm hunting for elk. I'm looking for the trails at the moment. I kicked them up. I figured they were on the other side of the island, so I started to run, and must have pushed them over this way. But there was a whole bunch of them just milling around on the edge of the clearing where I was. And now I'm on their trail. The thing about elk though is they go far and they go fast. So they may very well be all the way on the other side of the island by now. That's mule deer, I think. Whitetail. Whitetail are a little smaller than mule deer. What do we have there? That looks like a deer. That is a deer. Let's double check. Should be a white-tailed deer. Yeah, it is. Alright, the binocs are definitely better. Yeah, I have binocs. That is definitely a deer. And most likely a whitetail. I already grabbed one of those. Which direction am I going? And just going to walking feels like I'm running. Whoops, wrong button. That's another deer. Now, this game is actually very realistic, so I wouldn't actually imagine elk to call right now. It's way too late in the day. There's a deer right in front of me. This is exactly what it's like when I'm actually hunting. I just walk up, sneak up on deer all the time. But there's a whitetail. See? Whitetail deer. Well, I mean, we're here. May as well. Dropped her in one. I don't know why I'm being quiet. I probably just scared the heck out of everything around. Alright, left lung, right lung. I always aim for that shot. Heart's pretty hard to hit. It's right here. But it's a tricky shot, and you tend to damage all the meat that's right here. So when I hunt for real, I always aim for double lung shot. You can also get a lot of the vessels right there. They bleed out real quick. I missed yesterday on a long shot, and I felt terrible. I hit her in the spine. Had to put her down. I know it's just a game, but I am an ethical hunter. I don't like ever taking shots I can't get in one. So, did make me feel pretty bad. Alright. So, let's go find some new trail. This is no more whitetail because I believe that's what I'm tracking currently. Yep. Alright. You can relate to the feeling bad? Yeah. I mean, in a game this realistic, I even get quiet when I go to take the shots and stuff. I'm not actually wanting to track this whitetail. But, what is this sign over here? Hopefully it's elk. Hopefully. Oh, it is bobcat. Well, bobcat are super sketchy. I tried to get one yesterday, and it was not happy at all if I got anywhere near it. I snuck right up on it, and then did one wrong step, spooked it, and chased it for miles. Sorry, kilometers. Yeah, I can't talk loud. It feels so weird and wrong to speak loudly while hunting, even in a video game. I find myself doing all the same stuff I do when I'm actually hunting. And we got elk. No? Deer. I kicked up the deer. So I'm going to head over to this, I think it's a watering hole. Nope, that's the coast. I don't want the coast. I mean, it won't hurt, but... Yeah, if these trees were closer, it'd be a lot more like what I'm used to hunting. And there's not enough, I hunt with, about 2 meters of deadfall trees. You got it. The elk all love to hide in there, so you have to catch them when they're going between. It's pretty tricky. The deer are easy though. You just walk right up on them, just like I did earlier. All right, we're gonna check this clearing. It's more of the deer that I kicked up. How's Lucky's Advance Wars going? Is he keeping it normal on the General 1X? What do we have here? Yeah, you can hunt pheasants and all sorts of stuff. Oh, what do we have? More whitetail. They look really small to me. So, yeah, you can hunt birds, bears, wolves, all sorts of stuff. I don't think I ever will hunt bears. I don't really believe in hunting bears. I mean, it's a game, but still, it's not my thing. Same with wolves. Love my doggos too much. And yeah, I dropped my shotgun, so I can't hunt birds right now. Well, I mean, if I was a really good shot, I guess I could. But it only gives you points if you do it. Oh, here's a wolf right here. Wolf right here. Oh, coyote. Alright. If you shoot them on the ground, it doesn't give you any points. But yeah, you can sneak right up on the birds. I had a bunch of pheasants yesterday. I think you can do some African game in some of the newer one, but I don't really know. But bears, yeah, we have bears over here too. And there's bears. There's a bunch of different little islands, and each island sort of has its own little habitat. Here's coyote again. It's fleeing. Alright. I gotta get going until I can find some new trail. We got elk to get. One nice thing is I can do auto walk and just sort of scan. It's funny, every once in a while I hear something that the game, it's just ambient noise that the game didn't mean to put it, isn't meant to put in as a tracking sound, I don't think. But I'll hear, like I just heard, there was a deer sound on purpose, but I heard something else bark as well. But it didn't pick it up on this little thing. Now, right now I'm on a mission to find elk. That's what I love to hunt elk. They're so hard to find. It's so hard to hunt. I mean, you can hide in a hide, and it's not that bad, but I don't like to sit that long. We got some elk here. Told you. No, Annabelle was drinking some water, but yeah, she's right there. We got elk heading the other direction now. They went back that way. Where does this say they went? This is a new one. Alright, they're near. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah, my dogs don't really bark. I trained them not to bark unless somebody comes up to the door or anything. Which I'm even trying to break them with that because it's kind of annoying. Got more elk. They're heading that way. Okay. So, they probably went up here since I was coming up the other way. So, let's see. This is the scat from that one. So I'm hoping it just went up here. Right, Annabelle. Good girl. Let's see. Damn woodpeckers. Ah, see, I was right. Came this way. Let's see. I'm getting closer. Alright, there's a herd. So Roosevelt elk are about the size of a small horse. They're gigantic. They're huge. I hunt Rocky Mountain elk, which are smaller by about 100 kilos. The Roosevelt elk are the largest elk, and they get a male can be all the way up to 600 to 700 kilos, I think. They get humongous. I mean, absolutely gigantic. Most of them aren't anywhere near that big, but they're huge. It's like seeing a very large car or a small truck moving around. They're huge. And they can be dead silent. I mean, completely not make a sound. Or they just knock all the frickin' trees down. It's crazy. Yeah, the elk we hunt, the males are routinely about 400 kilos. If they tend to be a lot smaller. Yeah, Roosevelt elk can be just absolute monsters. And those huge ones are up in Canada and Alaska and stuff. But there is some of the biggest ones were actually found in California, I think. If I remember right. But I hunt for meat, not for trophy, so. So for me, just one elk is enough to feed us for a little more than a year. If I am feeding my whole family, which I usually do. Unless they don't need it for some reason. Yeah, they're enormous. We usually get a solid 100 kilos of meat, at least, out of a cow. Usually more, but at least 100. I'm betting I've kicked them up. And they're running. Especially since I haven't seen any more sign or anything. Which is surprising. But they can throw. They like to double back too. Elk are notorious for that. They go in a circle and come around. Right back where you were. And go the opposite direction of you. I'm getting all excited now. Even finding myself holding my breath like I do to listen. This game's pretty amazing. It really fills that niche you need sometimes when you've been stuck inside all winter and you don't live somewhere with good access to these kind of places. I'm wondering if they went up to that high meadow up there. But I don't know. Sneaky elk. Yeah, when you get used to hunting like this, I can't stand the smell of perfumes or ticking noises or just the city life and stuff, because this is when I'm fully alive, when I'm hunting, and I'm dead silent in the woods. I mean, dead silent. And I routinely walk up on deer to within touching. They'll walk right up next to me, and I could just reach out and pet them. But I don't wear any perfumes or colognes or anything like that, and that's deer. And yeah, those little noises and stuff, they really stand out when you get used to this, the quiet. And the loudest thing ever in the woods is to step on a twig under a dry twig, or have a water bottle that sloshes. But yeah, you'll find yourself step on a twig and just like, well, that was the end of that day. We got bobcat again. All right. I'm wondering if the elk didn't just double back on me. Oh yeah, I usually, I've had herds of deer walk 2 meters away and don't care at all that I'm there. I do that pretty much every day I go out when I go hunting. Elk, on the other hand, though, elk are very hard to hunt if you're actually walking around. That's why a lot of people just use hides and stuff, but I prefer to give them a fair fight. Hides are a little cheap for me, but, to each their own. Not everybody can walk around at 3,000 meters or higher like I do. No, we go with a group. We have a few people. We have some property up in the mountains, and we let some friends come up with us. And if one of us gets something, we tend to give it to those who don't. And my stepdad and I hunt as a pair, so if one of us gets something, the other one won't, because we don't need 200 plus kilos of meat. We just can't even give that away. It's just too much. So yeah, we hunt as sort of an unofficial group. This last year we were going for broke because we lost all of our meat. We had a power outage problem, and we had a lightning strike hit our solar panels, and it blew out our, oh, here's a bedding. Wow. Okay. I was not expecting ground bedding for a bobcat, but okay. Yeah, we lost everything. A lightning strike struck our solar panels, blew out all of the breakers, and my family was out of town. By the time they got back in a couple weeks, everything was completely rotten. It sucked. We lost a lot of meat. Here's deer again. So yeah, last year my stepdad got an elk and I got a deer. But where we've been hunting, actually all of Colorado, the elk population has just plummeted, and they're not sure why. We talked to a game warden and he just said, we have no clue. We're doing studies after studies, but the babies just keep dying. And we don't have predators anymore. Oh yeah, I am dropping frames bad. I'm just going to hang out and see if the frames come back. Nope. Okay. Well, I'll keep going, and thanks for letting me know. Yeah, as soon as I looked over, I saw it too. Yeah, we've just lost all the elk in Colorado, and they're not keeping the babies, and it's very rare to even see more than one or two with a huge herd. So the population is just in rapid decline. So we're really just hunting deer anymore because we don't want to put any more pressure on the elk. And the deer were in the same problem 20 years ago, and they couldn't figure out why then either. But as far as I can tell, it's not poaching, it's not anything else. It's just something's happening and they don't know what. It's probably stress. But the weird thing is it's across the entire state, and there's big chunks of the state that there's almost nobody there. So it's, my bet would be the climate change is really, the warmer winters and stuff have really changed things and altered the habitat. And made it harder, because then they may be giving birth and then it'll be just crazy cold all of a sudden for a while, and you just lose your young. Alright, that time I did confuse the neighbor's dog with something barking in game. Wow, my bitrate is horrific. Let me make sure nothing else is going on. Nothing else should be doing anything. I don't see anything else. I think it's just the internet's going all weird. Well, I will upload the full thing to YouTube if you did actually want to watch it, but I don't blame you if you don't watch it. It's, it's hunting. It's not everybody's thing. It's more fun to do it than watch. But yeah, I bet you could run the base game. It's free to play. You can do deer, pheasant, and I think wild boar, and 2 random animals that rotate every week for free. The base game is free. And I have 3 days of full access because I registered my email address. So if you register your email address, you can do more. Back to the deer. And yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and I have a Patreon now even, Pepper. A Patreon. So yeah, forgot I should shill that. But it's at the bottom of my page. Since Twitch, I have to have quite a few followers and things like that. And, yeah, it's mostly just to try to offset the cost. If I could manage to afford a new video card, it'd be nice to offset that cost a little bit and be able to play some newer games. Or to do a capture card like Nitro has, and I have all the genuine consoles, so to do that. How's it going, last psych? Yeah, I'm dropping. Oh, it's coming back. There we go. So it looks like the internet's has come back. But yeah, it'd be nice just to be able to do a little bit more stuff. My old 6870s, it's a good card. It's old and can't do a lot of the new stuff. Alright, looks like I've levelized my losses there. And I've definitely gone all the way past the elk, but there should be more on the north side of the island. Doing some real sketchy hunter move right here. Right down the cliff. Alright. So we're going to go back to walking. Yeah, so as long as you register your account and verify your email, you get 3 days to full access. But it is one of those pay-to-play additional games, but it's not that bad. You can do like $15 for 3 months for all of the game licenses and stuff, but then you can earn different things, like different guns and stuff, through in-game achievements. And you can also buy them if you want, if you really just want something. But I can't remember if this game has like side-by-sides and quads and stuff like that, or motorized transportation and stuff. But I know the newest one does, if I remember right. Which would speed up a lot of this because you can use all these roads to get around. There's another deer. There's whitetail everywhere around here. Place is just rotten with them. Lousy with them. No, it's not too bad at all. So, I'm going to be playing this for sure. And hunting all sorts of stuff. Yeah, my favorite time of year is definitely fall, when I go up in the mountains and hike around for hours and hours and hours. And it was great. Last year was a little questionable. It was a little crowded, and there was a lot of out-of-state people, and a lot of people don't know what they're doing, and it was a little sketchy at times. But that's the difference between, say, like the Swedish hunting model, where you rent land and you're the only ones allowed on that land, versus the American model, where Forest Service land is open to everybody. You can end up with some real questionable people that you didn't know were out there. But it ended up okay, and I'll just hunt a different season this year. Yeah, the falls, it's usually a lot more yellow. This looks like solid summer to me, although there is still occasionally frost and stuff on the trees, so who knows. What do we have? White-tailed deer. Don't even care. I need my elk on a mission. On an elk mission. Yeah, I can't remember, Pepper. Where do you live again? Is it Germany or Netherlands? I can't remember. Crouch. There we go. Let's take a scout around. Germany. Germany's got some pretty impressive outdoor space, though, doesn't it? From what I've seen, where I've been, it was pretty epic. I don't know how the hunting and stuff works there, but I'm sure you can get out and wander around. You have to watch out for unexploded ordnance, but, you know. Alright, here's the whitetail that I kicked up. Let's see what we can get. This time I'll see if I can find a trophy. Trophy one. Yeah, this is the first one. They did this game, which is now called the Hunter Classic. Then they did the Hunter Lost World, I believe, which is a futuristic guy crash lands on a prehistoric planet, I think, and you get to hunt dinosaurs. And then Call of the Wild is the newest one, which is a single payment game rather than this one, which is a paywall sort of game. It's free to play the base game, but it is a subscription or buying individual licenses and stuff, which is fine if you really don't play the game very much. It's really not bad. Or if you play it a lot, it's cheaper. But I like it, and you can, like I said, the base game's free. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Europe has some very different game management principles. And it's not really such a bad thing. Like I said, I did run into some pretty sketchy stuff last year. Including a situation where I thought I was going to get shot. But that's America for you at times. But it was, I just walked up, startled another hunter, and he was from out of state, and he was very aggressive. I'll just say that, and I'll end it there. But I still love it. It's still worth doing it. And I'd love to add some European stuff to my list. I mean, I'm hoping to live in Sweden and Europe sooner rather than later, but that's from over here. Some nice thick timber here. Alright. It's going uphill, which is what it sounded like, so I'm chasing the one that just made that bark. Yeah, there is a lot less game. I'd love to hunt Swedish moose, or reindeer even, but I have to live there, mostly. But yeah, I mean, hunting is just, I love it. Nothing makes you feel more alive than just being out in the woods like this. And I can tell I'm getting close. So I'm getting quiet. I can't help it. There he is. I missed. Shouldn't have taken that shot. I just got jumpy. Alright, I gotta find him, make sure he's down. Yeah, that was not a good shot. It was still a kill shot, I believe, but it was we got a runner now, so I might have to. Got some wounded animal to track. There's blood. He went this way. More blood. Blood. Yeah, that was a bad shot on my part. I feel awful right now. Well, here he is. He was a pretty good beast. Look at that. See? .8 seconds of suffering. That was pretty bad. And only one, and 77 if I was going for points. I got a 188 yesterday, which is a monster for the mule deer I was going for. But this is just a whitetail. They're smaller. Yeah, what I should have done is just snuck around the side and gone for a broadside shot. But I did get the left lung, but it went left lung and missed everything else. But still, lung shots are a guaranteed kill. There's just so much vessels and vasculature in there that they bleed out. It just can take a little while. As long as it's not a gut shot, you're fine. Point system are extremely complicated, and you really have to be a trophy hunter to even want to understand it, which I'm not. But it has to do with the girth of the antlers and the number of tines that grow off of it, which are the individual points that come off the main stem. It's different for each species a little bit, but the basic system is the longer those tines are and the thicker they are, the more points it's worth. And the more tines there are is also a good thing too. So it's a pretty complicated system, and as you saw, there's 2 score systems on there because there's a couple different ways to measure everything. But yeah, there's been some pretty big changes in the recent scoring system in real life. Some pretty major overhauls on how they're doing it. And there's a lot of debate on how it should be done. And some of them take averages, some of them take, the 2 different sides. Some it's not uncommon for one side to be bigger than the other. Have an asymmetry to the rack, but the more symmetrical, I believe, the more points it's worth. There's a lot of bigger. It just needs to be bigger. That's really what it boils down to. Bigger and pointier. Coming down here into the open. After that thick timber makes you a little nervous. Thinks you're going to kick something up. Spook it. Yeah, sometimes elk, you can hear them from a mile off, and they're just breaking and crashing through the woods like crazy. I mean, it sounds like somebody's driving a truck through, just knocking over trees and breaking every branch, and other times they're completely dead silent. They can walk right by you, you won't hear them. Other times, you can't miss them. You'd have to be stone deaf to miss them. And they have the most impressive call. It's this really high-pitched whistle that they do with these 2 specialized teeth in their mouth. And it sounds like a really loud, just shrill whistle. And when it's right next to you and that goes off, it makes your hair stand on end, makes your blood boil, and it's pretty epic. But they usually only do that really early in the morning and late at night to sort of call the herds back together. What was that? Something all the way on the other side of that meadow. Yeah, I'm usually so quiet in the woods that the squirrels start throwing things at me. So I scare them, and they sit in their trees, and they... heart is always a good shot. Really avoid the head and spine. It is a kill shot. It is also extremely hard to hit, and you're much more likely just to wound the animal than you are to actually kill it. But heart and lungs is always a kill shot and what's highly recommended. And those are located just behind the 2 forelegs. So if you find the angle of if I can find another one, I'll show you. They're located just behind the angle of the arm. There's some coyote tracks. And right about, just immediately behind, about the size of a hand. And you gotta, if you aim for just behind the front arm, you'll hit the lungs every time. You may miss the heart, which is down lower. It's almost down at the bottom of the rib cage. But if you hit lungs, you'll protect the heart and you'll protect all the rest of the organs. And if you are like me, you will eat the rest of that. I eat the heart and the liver and stuff, so I tend to go for lung shots. And what was that? Coyote. I don't know if you could hear that over my talking, but there was some chatter. If you're an archer, though, you go for the neck. And you want, instead of a hunter wants a broadside, so a 90-degree shot into the lungs is what a rifle hunter wants. If you're hunting with a bow and arrow, you actually want them facing you for the best shot. And you need to be really close, and you go for the neck and the major vessels in the neck, which causes them to bleed out quickly. But yeah, if I can find another one, I'll show you where the shot placement goes. More coyotes. And it's the same on all animals. All mammals are laid out roughly the same. Heart and lungs are basically always in the same place. It doesn't matter if it's a person or a boar or a elk or an elephant. They're all in the same spot. And once you get good at that shot and just sort of feeling where it is, you just shooting anywhere else just feels wrong. Oh, thanks. I only believe in taking shots that will kill the animal ethically. I don't like to miss. I don't like to wound them, and I will pass up an amazing animal opportunity if I don't think I can take it in one shot. And I've never gut shot. I've never done anything like that, and I hope to never do that. That's a very interesting track location under the rock, but it's there. So we must be getting out of whitetail territory because I was tripping over them earlier. Okay, that was strange. My game just glitched out on me for some reason, and it was walking without my input. And you also want to make sure you're hunting with the right size rifle. The one I'm about to use for elk is actually a little small, but if you don't miss, it's not a problem. I've taken elk with small rifles before, and it's not an issue. You got to hit the heart and lungs. But yeah, generally you want to match the gun to the animal you're hunting. In this case, I can still take the elk. I'm just going to have a much tighter shot. Something's near. I can tell. I feel it in my bones. Oh. That was. Saw a flash of red way over there. And elk tend to be a little red. I have a hide. I'll maybe take a picture and show you guys, but they have this rust red color. It's a really faint rusty color. And in the woods where everything's green, you spot it from a mile away. And let's see, this should be coyote track because that's what I've been inadvertently tracking. That's coyote for sure. Oh, bobcat. Well, it's predator because it's one big piece rather than a bunch of little ones. I'm going to spook the bobcat, though. I'm not being anywhere near quiet enough for a predator hunt. Oh, this might have been the red I spotted right there. The little trail marker. That's coyote. Coyote. Of course, I'm committing pretty cardinal sin here, walking in the sunlight through an open meadow, but I'm trying to cover some ground since I'm not running into any sign. Coyote, scat. You can actually usually tell what kind of predator it is based on the fur that's always in their scat. As pleasant as that is, it's just like dogs. They clean themselves. And alright, white-tailed deer, here we go. And they end up eating some of their hair. Yeah, after all that creeping around, this feels like I'm running a marathon through the woods right now. What do we have? Must be coyotes again. Okay. Here's the deer again. One thing I really like about this game is that they actually behave very accurately. They will mosey through meadows just like they do, and they apparently it's a persistent world generator, and they are all actively moving around all the time. So they're on the other side of that meadow there. I just can't see them. So what I'm going to try to do... Oh, I got to do inventory management for a second. You. Alright. 5 now. I try to call them in. Alright, they're too far away. I spotted them right down in front of me. Unless I was hallucinating. It could just be a visual glitch, but I'm pretty sure I spotted them down here. I see, I keep getting quiet because it feels weird when you're this close. Hear that? It was right next to me. Right next to me. So, what we're going to do... I can hear them walking. They're right next to me. There it is. Okay, so last psych that you were talking about. Let's see if I can move without spooking it. Alright, there we go. So see the front legs right there? So this is a perfect shot for a bow if I was really close. But just behind that front leg there When she comes around this tree, I'll show you. So right there. Those are the lungs. Right here are the lungs. And she saw me finally. Alright. She's bucking it. Alright, now I'm getting that weird glitch where it's just walking without me again. Alright. There we go. Oh, there's another one. They're all over. That was way up there. Whoops. See, I've crossed this entire island already. Look at that. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Alright, so I'm going to try to get a better broadside. The best way to get broadsides in this, if you call them, calling's really good if you're a bow hunter. Oh yeah, it came super close. I was in the sun though. If I'd actually been hiding, it would have been better. I was just trying to move around to show the shots. Calling really works well for bow hunters. Rifle, it works. You just have to be okay with your shot placement, since you're going to put a smaller hole in, and it's not designed to bleed out as much. It's more designed to do shock damage to the tissues. So, game is walking without me again. Alright. So they're right up on top of that hill. Let's see what we can find. But yeah, I don't mind showing it off. I mean, I love hunting. I'm a big advocate for people getting out, and you know, even if you don't want to shoot anything, take a camera. You know, that's why the inventory in this game has a camera. It's real common for a lot of hunters to spend. Hunters usually love the game more than anybody else. They do more to protect the wildlife and the habitat than pretty much anybody else, because if there's no habitat, there's nothing to hunt. And you know, we're a lot of good ethical hunters will pass up on a shot if they're not sure. Or like me, I'll go for the I only go for the older ones, the older animals. But in a lot of places, there's just not that predatory selection anymore, so there's no pressure to get rid of the weak and the sick. So hunting has to replace that a little bit. Especially in Europe, where a lot of your predators are gone. And in big chunks of the United States, especially the Northeast and the Midwest, where deer are actually considered a nuisance. There's so many of them because all of the predators are gone, and you can hunt multiple deer a year in a lot of places. I should be just about to walk up on something. That's a rock. Got all excited. Okay. Let's see if I can call him in again. Yeah, it's amazing. The wolves are coming back, and that's hugely. It's amazing. It's really needed. Wolves do a lot of good, and you know, I come from an area with a lot of farmers, and there's still a lot of stigma against wolves, but they do a huge amount of good. Where are you, guy? I'm still looking for those elk. Elk are mystical. They're just ghosts. The Native Americans called them wapiti, which has a couple different translations and meanings, but it's more just sort of the spirits of the mountain or the ghosts of the mountain, or the woods, and because they just disappear. They can walk all around you, you'll never even know. Alright, now we got coyote again. Oh. Sounded like a doe. So, let's see what we can find. Yeah, wolves don't do much. If you're a farmer, just build, I come from a family of farmers. Just build good chicken coops and stuff, and wolves won't harass herds of cows and stuff or sheep unless they're sick, and bring them in at night, make good pens, and they'll be fine. Oh, I kicked up the deer. There it is, running right there. Well, just paying more attention to the wolf argument, I guess. And but anyways, we're really looking for elk. Big magical elk. Now there are towers around. I may head to this one. I think that's where I'm gonna go. Check out these towers. Like I said, I never actually hunt with things like that, but it's a game. I'll give it a try. Wapiti. I'll type it in the chat. And different Native American groups have different names for them, but that's a pretty common one. And they just disappear. I mean, if you've never experienced it, you can't understand how crazy it is because they're huge. I mean, huge. There's a deer. Where's that? That's a deer. He's just hanging out watching me. Too far away to shoot anyways. But see, he sees me, and there he's spooked. That's exactly what they do. I mean, that is 100% how they behave. Which is really cool. That's what I like about this game. Oh, and I got the weird walking bug again. Alright. I think that probably has to do with weird lag between the server and my computer. The internet is broken. But yeah, imagine like a Ford Fiesta or a Ford Focus just driving through your house without you even knowing it. And the only way you know that it happened was there's some tire marks, and it smells like exhaust afterwards. And that's it. Alright. Well, maybe I can stop walking eventually. There we go. Yeah, it must be my internet's just being typical American internet. Not as good as anywhere else. But still better than Brazil, apparently. Alright, let's hide in these for a second. Get our bearings. Okay. There is a lake over here. which is promising. And since we're on the trail of elk, I'm not going to cross some meadows anymore. I already know which way the whitetail went because I scared it. Yep. Yeah, Australia. It is just shocking that as the United States has zero interest in putting money towards social infrastructure and stuff, and that includes the internet. It's just amazing to me. It's not like we don't have the money. We're filthy rich. As a country, not individuals. But as a country, just the sheer amount of money that our government has is just sickening. Hey, look. Still that whitetail. And yeah, they're the tracks, if you're actually curious what they look like. They're pointed like that, and you can tell the direction. They're usually not that clear, but when they start to run, they spread out and they dig in the front part, that little pointy part, and that tells you the direction really clearly. Yeah, many things, like you said, that's a good way to put it, Pepper. Many things are a bit confusing right now. The world's kind of in some turmoil, but right now we got elk on the brain. And honestly, elk season is still 5 months away, 6 months away, and I'm already excited. I am so excited. I mean, hopefully I'll have a job by then, but I have told every job that I've ever had, no, I'm going to be hunting those weeks, so I will not be available to work. And they say, well, we're going to need you, and I go, well, I need to hunt more than I need to be here, so peace. And oddly enough, most places have been pretty understanding. This is more deer. And you can tell the difference between deer and elk. Deer, where'd I go? Yeah, they leave little pellets. Like little coffee beans almost. And elk leave much, much bigger, actually clumped together stuff. Yeah, let's focus on elk. Although it's exciting when you get, that little black circle is shrinking because I'm accidentally tracking this whitetail. And I see there's another one moving way down over there. I can just saw him move out of range. He's over here. Right down there. But, alright, elk it is. Alright. I can't help it, Pepper. Yeah, I don't put up with it. My girlfriend's learning how to stand up for herself at work, and one thing I've told her is, you got to decide what you're willing to do. And the American business model is a lot of you live to work rather than work to live, and it's pretty brutal. And so she's traveling again, and it just takes its toll. But she's learning that it's okay sometimes to just say no. But yeah, I've never had that problem. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go hunting. I only got so many seasons to do that in my life. You got me the other weeks of the year. All right, stop walking. Stop. Thank you. You got me all the other weeks of the year. You don't need me for this one. Tower is still quite a ways away. We gotta keep climbing. No, living to work is not the way to do anything. you're just not as productive. You don't get anything. Nobody's happy. The business suffers with employee turnaround. They spend more time training, but trying to teach Americans that what we've been doing since, for a very long time is not really the way to do it. It's a pretty uphill battle. That's deer again. And that's part of what my consulting stuff is explaining to businesses that if you give your you got to give your employees some trust, and they'll give you trust in their time and their energy in return. Reward them, and they'll work harder. And rather than just fear motivation that if you don't work hard enough, you're fired. We're just straight up mountain climbing fools. That is what we're gonna do. Alright, free look. Look at those mountains. That's exactly what it looks like where I hunt. Exactly. Those mountains like that. Except add another... Yeah, well, the mountains look that tall from where I am, but we don't hunt at sea level like this is. We hunt way up there. 3,000 something meters. I think it's 3,300 meters, 3,400. It's quite a ways up. There is not much oxygen that high. But it's worth it. That's a lot of view going on. Should help me find what I'm looking for. Not even sure the game will render them this far away. I just don't know. Tower should be right up here though. That was me moving through the grass. Yeah, that's the other thing I love about hunting is even if I don't get anything, at least you get a hike in places like this, You spend days up there wandering around, reconnecting with nature. It really just sort of recharges you. Now, I don't have an elk bugle, which the game may expect me to use to hunt elk. But I can't get an elk bugle until I get some more missions done. And one of those is to collect a cow elk. Dilemmas. Heard something moving. Other than my jackbooted hunter character. That's another deer. I'm not interested in deer. Getting all quiet again. Can't help it when elk's on the line. Yeah, I really should be using at least a 30 caliber, like a 308 for elk, but I just don't have the gun. I'd really like to have a 7mm mag, 7mm Magnum. That's a really good round. A 308 or a 30-06 would work. There's a deer again. Man, they're everywhere. This place is lousy with deer. It's like not even a challenge. Just walk up on them and start bagging. But I think the ones that you can hunt for free, the wild boars, the deer, and the pheasant are all pretty easy to hunt. A lot of the rest of the stuff's much harder. Magically teleport up the ladder. Okay. There is a deer, the one that kept calling. Oh, he's glitching out all weird. Alright. Now we're looking for elk. Pepper needs an elk. So if I do happen to see an elk, just remember about how big that guy looks. And it'll look the same from a distance till you get up, the character gets up close, and you'll see how big they are, because they're huge. It's just disappointing. I just have not seen much. Yeah, just had deer dance. That's a good way to put that one. Where'd he go? He should be up here now. Or I somehow spooked him. Yeah, see, this is why I don't hunt like this. It's a lot of sitting and waiting and hoping things come your way. Since I don't have any elk calls, not really doing it. Where was it on the map I saw that other elk? It was down here, I think. Well, it's getting later in the day. They should be up here if it behaves like they should. They should be around here. So we'll have to see if they show up. Yeah, see, there's all these birds. Can hunt all sorts of stuff. And I think everything you see is a huntable area. I think this has some of the kangaroos and stuff are over there. And there's a ton of deer and boars and cats and stuff on this island, which is where I was yesterday for a little bit. And then I think you can even do the one way over here for mountain goats and stuff. But I'm not 100% on that. They move towards higher territory during the day. They don't like to be hot. And as the day warms up, they tend to move uphill, which tends to be a little cooler. But again, I don't know if that's how the game actually handles it. I wouldn't be surprised since they put so much time and effort into it. Deer don't really care as much, but elk are very particular and very sensitive to temperature. They also can cover the distance just crazy fast. So there's also no sign around. Alright, I'm gonna Getting impatient. I need my elk. Right, I'm gonna look for some sign. Oh, whoops, wrong button. Not run. And then I'm gonna go from there. What do we have here? Deer. More deer. Nothing but deer. That should be deer as well then. Yep. I'm going to try to scout this out a little bit. There's that deer again. There's an elk right in front of me, I think. Or it's a weird graphical glitch. A weird graphical glitch. Dang. Right in the middle of the screen right there. Looked like the back end of an elk. Dang it. I got so excited. Got my hopes up and dashed them quite expertly. What is going on over here? It's like mist coming up. There's another tower. Okay. Here's another whitetail. Barking at me. Deer. Alright. Had enough of this screwing around. We're looking for elk. Hopefully I don't fall and break something. Sorry, that was my phone. My girlfriend's out of town, so I have it on. So it'll still notify me if she texts. If she needs anything. Here's the sun. Okay. I don't know which way. It doesn't look like there's a lot of wind. Snow. It's another deer. Oops. Good to know I'm not lost. trying to remember where I saw their tracks going back, way back, like an hour ago. I think I saw him going this way. So if I head this way, I should maybe, hopefully, run into some trail. Then I can follow that. You can also find collectibles like antler shed, which are worth points apparently, which are just antlers that fall off naturally. I found one yesterday. Just one. Really got to be kind of looking for them. There's like sticks on the ground. I just happened to find one that was in the middle of a bunch of rocks, so it really stood out on a big flat rock. I would also really like to hang out in dense timber. Another reason I'm walking through all this. Just looking for any sign. So how's the weather over in Germany? Is it spring yet? That was a crow. Nice. And my sister also lives in Germany, so it's just a bunch of Germans. And yeah, I haven't really heard anything from her for a while, so I assume things have been going well. And we've had it's been hot here in Colorado, but it is we've had random cold snap, and now it's hot again. Killed all sorts of stuff. We've been having more and more of those every year, though. And they tend to be much more severe every year. Nice. I used to play basketball many, many, many years ago, but I was never good at it. In fact, I was what you might call god-awful at it. I visited her last year. We've got more animal scat. That's bobcat. That's what the game makes it look like anyways. It's just basically what it looks like. Tell you what though, when you actually run into big cat or bear sign in the woods, because we have mountain lions, which are also called pumas. They're huge. It makes you more nervous than anything. You sort of have that feeling of maybe I should hike my backpack high up over my neck so they can't get me. And you always have that feeling that something's watching you. Which is pretty freaky. Yeah, pumas are huge. Bobcats aren't that big. They're about the size of my dogs. They're not really a menace. They just run away. But mountain lions will try to, if you're by yourself, it's not uncommon for them to jump at you from behind and try to break your neck like they do their normal prey. So they're a little nerve-wracking. Bears aren't too bad. You just have to be loud, which goes against the core principles of hunting, really. But yeah, bobcats just look like very large house cats with white tufts on their ears. Oh, I spooked him, I think. Not that I'm actually hunting the bobcat, but it's cool when you spot them running across. Oh, still just roaming. Okay. If I'm lucky, I can see him go across the open area. So that dotted circle on there means it's more than 200 meters away, which means it's some recent sign, but not super recent. And if you've ever actually tracked an animal, it's pretty much impossible to tell how old it is to any degree of accuracy. Oh, I found a shroom, apparently. Okay. Apparently I collected a king bullet mushroom. That was interesting. Okay, so apparently you can also collect mushrooms. This looks like a real elky spot. That's the word I'm going to use. Elky. There's another deer honking at me. Still just roaming. You know, I don't know. That was the first mushroom I've collected. What's that on the horizon over there? Oh, it just must be a graphical thing. Okay. That's the first mushroom I've collected, but if we find any interesting looking mushrooms, I'll be sure to try it out. course, hallucinogenic mushrooms and guns might not be a good idea. But, you know, it's for science. I'm a scientist, so I'm allowed to do that, right? Let's see. Running? Nope, still roaming. Where's the sun? There. Yeah, only in a video game, it's fine. Scientific research. Okay, now it's this way. Okay, what's this over here? Deer. Let's get back in the shadows. And another cool thing about this game is the time passes in real time, but you can start anytime you want. So I started at 7 a.m. Well, I guess it doesn't pass in real time. So I started at 7 a.m. So I guess it goes double fast. Yeah, double time. Bobcat maybe was coming for a drink. Let's see if anything else was over here. Is that a... Gonna stick to the shadows as much as I can. Maybe I should try some fishing. American style. I don't see any fish though. Alright. American fishing. Really, you need dynamite for that. Or a bow and arrow. I have actually caught a trout barehanded. My friend, who was American military special forces guy, was absolutely shocked. You see that little mouse just run across? Little vole? He was blown away. I just snatched my hand in and pulled it right out. Of course, I didn't tell him it was sick, so it was not swimming all that fast. I just let him be impressed. I just saw a flash of something over here. I have seen nothing as far as game sign goes. It is considered a bit unfair. There are parts of the South where they do some interesting styles of fishing, including bow and arrow fishing. And it's not very common to shoot it because the bullets explode and don't really do much. But bow and arrows work really well. It's pretty impressive. Just Google bow and arrow fishing American South and you'll see there's a ton of videos. It's become a huge thing. Same with noodling, which is using your hands and trying to catch a fish that's under the riverbank and just sort of wiggling it around like a worm, and then it latches onto your thumb and you just pull it out. It's pretty spooky because you got to stick your hands in some pretty nasty places that are full of snakes and all sorts of stuff. Not really my cup of tea. Nice. Yeah, catfish can be delicious if you cook it right. And I'm betting since you were in the South, they cooked it right. I've only ever been in... Only places I've ever had it not cooked right were anywhere outside the South. And it's pretty uncommon. Most people can cook it, but I haven't had it bad catfish. Yeah, the fish in the South, in the freshwater, aren't that bad. They don't really have that big of teeth. If you were saltwater fishing, yeah, there can be some monsters. There is a deer, mule deer, I think. Nope, whitetail. What does it say? Does it agree with me? Am I right? I need to be right. Whitetail deer. So yeah, the shot placement would be right behind. Oh, of course, they always do that too. Hide behind the trees. Right where that fold is behind the front leg, right where it goes to the rib cage. Drop your shot right in there. You'll hit the ribs every time. I shot a deer that looked quite a bit like that, except she was a mule deer last year. Walked right up on her. They had no idea I was there. I actually felt bad because they had no clue I was there. I mean, it almost felt unsporting to me. But like I said, we'd lost all our meat, so I just made it a really clean kill and thanked her for her sacrifice and did not waste a pound of any of her. The only thing I did waste and I regret is the bones. I was going to bring them back for my dogs, but I forgot. There's one on the road over here too. Or for soup. There's another whitetail over here. Just everywhere. And I chose this island specifically because they said elk are common. And yeah. But that's elk for you. No guarantees. That tree looks like a weird texture. Bit of a Sopranos ending. Just finish it off. Don't let them see it coming. No, I just felt bad because I was, 10 meters away, maybe. Not even that far, probably. Yeah, about 10 meters. And I just had no idea. Which is good, I mean, but still. Sneaky, sneaky. There's that whitetail still. She's just roaming around. I see it. Spot it. You get points as well for spotting. I don't know if you get points for pictures. I haven't actually even tried that. But, there. Let's do that. That's, oh yeah, 4. What about the one on the road? Calm in closer. See how this camera thing works. No, elk are just sneaky. They're so sneaky. Nothing. Uploading photos, so I guess not. I guess you don't get points. Well, you might, I don't know. But still. I need my elk. Alright. Now, let's see. We found the first elk sign here. And they were sort of heading this way. Alright, that's where we're going then. This direction. This is also very typical hunting. Spend all day, not see a thing. Or see everything except what you're actually going for. One day when I was elk hunting, I saw 2 herds of deer, so around 16 deer, and 23 turkeys. And 0 elk. And I was going only for elk at the time. I kicked up that deer. That was whitetail deer. Just making sure it was that same one. Elk also are not very busy or active during the middle of the day, which is what it is right now. And it's not surprising that I'm not seeing anything now. I'm quite impressed that they put in all these different characteristics for them. That was an elk, I think. I don't know if you guys... Oh, there's a deer literally right in front of me. See? I'm just sneaky. More deer. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that's what happens to me every single time I go hunting. Here's more deer. The deer literally just walk right up to me. All you have to do is just be quiet and calm, and they walk right up to you. They're pretty fearless. Again, where I hunt, if on the Midwest or the East and Northeast, they tend to be very skittish, but not always. But yeah, she came right up to me. I had a young elk, about a yearling, do that to me. And Dad was right behind him, but I was hunting female, and I didn't want to shoot a yearling, even though I legally could have. But he's just a little guy, and he did that to me, and he came that close to me, and then he ran away, and then he came right back, and then he ran away, and then he came right back, and he ran away, and he was trying to figure out what I was, and I stood there for 20 minutes without moving a muscle, and he and Dad just watched, just sat there right next to me. And Dad was no farther away than this big tree right here, and the little one was, as close, these little trees right here, and they were just hanging out, having a day. Yeah, they're like, I've seen this guy hunting, he's harmless. Just looking for elk anyways. But yeah, you can hunt turkey, you can hunt pheasant, grouse, all sorts of stuff in this game. It's crazy how much stuff is in this game. And if you really want to get into it, you can buy very specific rifles and things like. Here's elk. Perfect. You can buy very specific guns and ammo and stuff. What I'm hunting with right now are called nozzler tip bullets, which have a little rubber tip, which means they have really good aerodynamic performance because they're pointed, but they still kill very effectively because they are hollow point underneath that little rubber piece. That is deer? Yeah. Oh, there's a deer over there. Just saw a flash of white. I just wanted to make sure it was actually a deer, but it's already moved. Because elk also have white. Oh, here. That's an elk antler. Treasure. 178. That's a pretty good one. Not sure how that affects gameplay, but there we go. Found an antler. What was that? Coyote. Forgot there's coyotes. We have more deer. I think I've already lost that elk trail. Gonna backtrack a little bit and see. Oh, here's something over here. That's probably the elk then. Whenever you come to an opening, you also have to be really, really cautious. Because they use them too. Deer. The game use the open roads too. If you're not careful, you'll you'll never even see them, and they'll just jump off the trail. And that'll be that. Annabelle's stretching out, making all sorts of noise. I think I need to go back to my trail and try again. One thing I really like is that it tracks these things for you. Bobcat. Oh, that was a sound. So it called from down there. Interesting. So those little X's will tell me where I found everything, so I don't tend to get too... It's hard to get lost and lose your way. Alright, now we're back to game trail. There's 3 of them. What are we feeling? Probably that one, but I'm going to check this one first. That is elk right there. Said it went that way. Okay. It's using the road. As they do. I've run into hundreds of elk just walking down trails like this. You just see them off in the distance for a split second, and then boom, they're off in the woods. Like a gun just went off. And you just hear boom, crash, boom. And as they run up the side of the mountain, they're gone. That was it. It's pretty cool. Now that's old trail that I'm following because I don't have a ring on my little gizmo here. Got deer there, which I'm not interested in. There's a bobcat call again. It's down there. The audio location in this is amazing. You can actually tell where things are. Better than you actually can in the woods, because in the woods the sound bounces off the trees all around you. It gets super confusing. Even gunshots can sound like they're miles away, and they could be just right on the other side of a ridge. Of course, my stepdad shot an elk one year, and he was on the other side of a ridge, so it was a safe shot, but he was pointed towards me, and I was, I don't know, a kilometer away, and it sounded like I'd been shot at, and it scared the ever-loving everything out of me. I actually dropped to the ground and was making sure I hadn't been hit. It sounded right next to me. I mean, it was so confusing with the way the sound bounced around. It was pretty, but I knew he'd got something because the sound of his gun was very unique. And so once I knew I was fine, I figured I hadn't been hit because it didn't hurt or anything. There's that vole again. I was just excited. See if the vole actually shows up on the species list thing. But my favorite is to scare the squirrels. They get so mad. They throw things at you. It's hilarious. They start chittering. You can sneak right up to them, and then you just make just a little bit of noise, and you just hear just chit, 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 and then all of a sudden things start flying at your head. You always come back with like seeds and stuff stuck to your backpack. It's pretty entertaining, but it's worth it. Here's that whitetail again. That was a doe, it sounded like. Yeah, no, I just dropped down to a deep squat and made sure everything was good. The other funny thing is some animals you wouldn't think are mean or you really have to watch out for tend to be the real troublemakers. Squirrels, for instance, they alert the whole forest that you're there. And porcupines, they chase you. I've been chased by a porcupine. Legitimately chased. It was so mad at me. I scared it because they can't see anything. And it was coming right towards me, and it was probably about as far away as this tree right here. Maybe about here. Right next to me. And I made a tiny little noise to get its attention. And it reared up, looked around, then it spotted me. And then it just charged at me as fast as it could. So I'm scrambling through the brush, all hunched over, carrying my rifle, looking like an idiot. And it's just chasing me around. And it was pretty funny. Chased me for a while, too. It was so mad at me. So I learned that day that porcupines are nature's douchebags. That guy in the bar who always wants to pick fights, that's a porcupine. That's what they do. What am I looking at here? Scat, probably, but where is it? Huh. Yeah, squirrels are, if they're used to people, they're very friendly. They'll come up and they'll try to take things and they'll take food out of your hands and stuff. But squirrels who aren't used to people, they think you're out to kill them and eat everything that they've got. And they just they carry on. They just start chattering at you and they throw, it's hilarious that they throw things. I don't know why it's so funny to me, but it is. But they legitimately like throw things at you. They're pretty good shots too. I've been hit in the head and stuff by little nuts, and I mean they can't throw anything big. They're not very big, so they just throw little tiny like scraps of wood and stuff at you. But they'll climb in the tree above you and then throw it right at you. Always makes me laugh. It's like, whoa, little guy, you got some attitude. Porcupines are nature's douchebags, though. They really look like Jersey Shore MTV douchebags with spiked up, frosted tipped hair, always front, puffing up their chest, trying to come at me, bro. That's totally what porcupines are. They are nature's douchebags. I mean, he legitimately chased me for quite a while too. And it was so comical because I was in the deep, there was a really thick layer of overgrowth. And so I was all squatted down. And I'm carrying my rifle in my front arms, and I got my backpack on my back, and I'm in a deep squat like I'm trying to go to the bathroom in the woods or something. And trying to run like that away from this porcupine who's running faster than I am. But luckily he's blind, and so you can't actually see where I would go. So he'd stop every 20 feet or so, and try to find where I was again, and then he'd charge at me again, and then, oh God, he just kept doing it until I finally managed to get far enough away by just kind of going around him. And then he sort of huffed up and then just went back to being his little MTV Jersey Shore douchebag kind of way. Puffed up again and then just walked off like, yeah, that's what I thought. Squirrels. Squirrels and porcupines. But yeah, I've seen all sorts of cool things up there. The turkeys are very interesting since nobody hunts them up where we are. So you can get right up next to them. And the porcupines. But, minks and marmots and, what they used to trap for the American fur trade and stuff. We have a ton of those. And see, I found one elk sign, and then, like a ghost, it's just gone again. So, yeah, poly porcupine, exactly. Poly D porcupine. Exactly, Poly D. Glad you know that reference. I wasn't sure if you would have known that one or not. But it is. It's Poly D. I actually have pictures of it coming up to me because I was taking pictures of it like, oh, look, it's a cute little porcupine. And then I had to obviously stop taking pictures because it was chasing me through the trees. All squatting down like I am right now, like, oh, God. Backing up as fast as I could. Stuck in the trees. It's hilarious. Was not the reaction I was expecting. I thought I would just make some noise and it would like run away like everything else does. No, not the porcupine. No, it chased me because it's a porcupine. And porcupines are nature's douchebag. More deer. More deer probably. Please be something other than deer. Nope, deer. I've got a ton of funny stories like this. Hunting is just an adventure. You wouldn't really think you can get into so much shenanigans while you're hunting, all by yourself in the woods. But you can. Yeah, Pauly D and Mike, whatever his name is. I don't know. I just saw a commercial. My girlfriend was watching a show, and it said the Jersey Shore guys are now back for another show or something. I think it's Family Reunion or something. And I looked at her, and I'm like, I'm surprised those guys are still alive. Like, I kind of... She was like, seriously, I thought they were dead. The way they live. It's not exactly the healthiest lifestyle for a long life. Yeah, hunting is amazing. It is an insane amount of work. Like, this game makes it look pretty easy. You don't have that physical fatigue. But you get absolutely exhausted. And then the moment you see what you've been tracking down and you're ready to take the shot, your heart is racing about as fast as it can race without exploding out of your chest. And then you have to try to make a really clean shot. So your rifle really is shaking at best like this, and you're trying to make a shot. Even if you hold your breath or do anything like that, this is about as good as you got. You know, this is holding my breath, and they've kept it pretty accurate. It's not easy. That's why my favorite sport, and the only one I actually watch, is biathlon. Or ski shooting, as I think it's usually called. And you Germans are apparently huge fans of it, which I can highly respect that, because it is an amazing sport. It combines my two favorite things, difficult shots and skiing. Oh, what is that? Probably just a graphical thing again. But yeah, I recommend looking into it, and I don't know if you know anybody who does hunt, or how it works in Germany, but if you know people, it's the best way to get started is to go with people you know, family members, friends, even just friends of family members. Most hunters will be super ecstatic to have a new hunter come with them because, believe it or not, even though the population of the world is growing, there are fewer and fewer hunters every year. So it's sort of a dying activity, and it actually is hard on the government then because they have to manage the game because the people aren't doing it, and so they don't get any revenue from licenses, and they then have to spend all their money on culling herds and tracking all that stuff and monitoring the herds, where with hunters they can just ask the hunter and say, how did it look up there? Was it good? Was it overcrowded? Was there any game? Were they healthy? And yeah, we were watching the Winter Olympics this year, and all the U.S. commentators were saying, the Germans are apparently the biggest fans of the sport, but that doesn't mean everybody's a big fan of it. But they said there's more German viewers of the sport than there are any other country apparently. So I think that has to do with how many people live in Germany as well, compared to like Sweden and Norway and stuff, because it's very popular there too. But yeah, biathlon, I love biathlon. It just wasn't even an option for me growing up, so I did ski racing. But biathlon was not. We didn't have any teams or anything like that. But you can bet my kids are going to be biathletes. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be any good, but they're probably going to learn how. If they want to, of course. Now, I wouldn't force my kids to do really anything they're not interested in, but they just have to do something to be active and learn good things. But yeah, Pepper, if you know people who hunt, I would ask them, say, where do I start? And hell, I know enough people who hunt that even if guns are short or in scarce supply, they'll at least let you borrow rifles and stuff. So I know Germany has some pretty interesting gun laws, though, so I don't know how that works, or if that would work there. But I'm sure you have to pass hunter safety and firearm safety stuff, which is, I give Europe some serious props on that one, because we really need better stuff in the U.S. But we're not going to talk about gun safety things in the U.S. That's like there's a deer all the way over there. I don't know if you spotted it. Whoop. Another whitetail right behind this tree. There it is. See? Oh, it's a spike. So see, its antlers are really small. And it's a male. And see how it has tiny little antlers compared to some of the other guys we've seen. It means he's very young. He's not quite mature, so he's probably 2 years old. And the elk are just apparently gone, so who knows? So how many deer have I seen so far? Like 30? Oh, a lot. And I've seen 0 elk. I've only seen maybe 6 elk sign on the whole island so far. And I have covered now the entire island. So yeah, boars or something else. There's a bit, if I remember right, there's a big German and European heritage for boar hunting. I don't remember what it is, because boar hunting is only a recent thing in the U.S. with all the feral boars that we have now. But I remember hearing a lot about boar hunting in Europe and seeing old boar guns and stuff, which were amazing. But boar hunting, you have to be careful because they're vicious. But if you go with somebody who knows what they're doing, you should be fine. So when you say forester, do you mean somebody who takes care of the forest, or somebody who cuts down trees for a living? Or because in U.S. English, forester means somebody who cuts down trees for a living. But I'm assuming you mean like some of the other or the Europeans, like the Italians, where forester is somebody who maintains the forest rather than just cutting down trees. Deer scat. One more sign over here. Yeah, it takes care of the forest. You could call it a game warden, but that's not even a thing. That's the wrong word too. We really don't have the term in American English. The Scots have a word for it, and I just cannot remember what it is. In the English, I believe, as well. But caretaker is, I think, more of a word you're looking for. Forest ranger, that would work. Yeah. So forest ranger, well, forest ranger in the U.S. is a police officer who monitors the forest and makes sure people don't do bad things to it. Oh, elk. We found elk. Yes. Yes. Found the trail again. He came all the way over here. Okay. Okay. Stoked. What is that over there? Just light. Alright. Oh, I'm getting excited. Trying to think of a word. Custodian, like a land custodian or something. Like I said, we don't really have it in the U.S. We kind of do, but like a forest ranger would be close, but it would be, that's a police officer specifically. They can arrest people. They even carry guns. They actually have to go become, they are actual police officers. And you do not mess with the forest rangers. They are very serious about what they do, which is good. And they are also in amazing shape, so there's no running away from them. Yeah, now I'm stoked. So the elk went this way, and you saw how far on the map. That first one was pointing me to right here, and the arrows were saying he went this way, and it was all the way over here. So that means that elk can be anywhere from here to here, likely. So, all right, going back down, back on the hunt. There's all this deer sign over here. So I like the way that the game simulates the difficulty of tracking elk by making their sign really far apart. I mean, it's not how it really is, obviously, but it does make it substantially harder to find them. What? Apparently a deer right here. Oh! What? There's a deer for you. There's that little yearling I was saying. So they must all be bedded down right here then. Yep, see my screen keeps popping up with... I'm literally just walked into the deer. So there's one over here, there's one right here, there's another over here. So rather than spook them, I'm going to go around. Yeah, I was wondering what that was over by the rocks. I was like, oh, it looks like more antlers, but attached to what, a log? It's like, it must just be a log. So yeah, there must be another one sleeping like right here. Can't believe it's just napping in the middle of the road though. That seems like a bad idea. Come on. Come on, dear. But that's also pretty accurate. Around this time of day, they all sort of bed down for the day. It can be kind of hard to find things then. So I may not even find an elk today because it may be too late in the day, or I may have to wait until the evening when they start moving again. Which is what I was worried about. But I don't know, I've found elk at all sorts of strange times. I'm all the way back to where I started. Huh. That's what that little cabin on the map was. That's a graphical thing again. I got all excited. Alright. So. Stay in the shadows. Sorry, I texted my lady for a second. The only thing that's really missing other than the smell is all the occasional bones you run into. If only I had an elk bugle in my house. Yeah, there's the cabin right there. Let's see. Yes, you can get attacked by predator animals in this game, and I actually, since I've run into so many predators, I'm actually carrying first aid. So, after a vicious animal attack, I don't know if there are porcupines though, but maybe they are in the new game. If not, I'm going to email Avalanche and say, you need to insert nature's douchebags, and I'll tell you why. Because they need to be inserted in the new game. If they're not already. And I'll include the pictures of the vicious porcupine. If I can find them. Alright. This elk has been determined to take the roads. But this one leads right to camp, and I wonder if it would take that. I just don't know. I mean, I've been places where the wildlife, like moose, literally just walk right through the cabins and stuff. But it's not super common. They do tend to avoid that. Because people are scary. Also, a really neat trick for spotting things through the trees is to move sideways, because it will help differentiate the targets that you're looking at. Help you see the trees for the forest, or the elk for the trees. Man, elk sign's awfully far away from other elk sign. Not be offended. Yeah, cone throwing squirrels are required as well. I've not seen any, but I've sort of heard them every once in a while. I mean, that's just birds right now, but... Special Nature's Douchebag DLC. That would be pretty funny. Bully squirrels. Mean porcupines. And the occasional beaver that slaps the water and scares the hell out of everything around you. The guess you should have been quieter pack. Or maybe you were too quiet. Sorry about that. That was just an alarm I had set. Which one scared you? The birds? Or coming out into the open? Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I had it on super loud too. It was just a reminder, because since my girlfriend's out of town, I usually wrap up all my stuff at 4 o'clock. So I can just spend the evenings with her. And since she's out of town, I wanted to try to keep the routine. But I want this elk. I gotta find this elk. It's somewhere. It's out here. I need it. Honestly, I just forgot what time it was. That's why I set the alarm anyways, but I was not expecting this stream to be this long, but I'm determined to just at least spot an elk. This is what it is like to hunt them, though. They are elusive and hard to find. Except when you're not allowed to hunt them, and then they're right there every time. I'm going to check this meadow up here, though. Get that rodent. Maybe I'll pop a rodent. The elk does elude us. I do not like that. Elk they're wily. If there's an area that they cannot be hunted on, they will all be there. And I don't think there's anywhere more evidence of that than in Estes Park, which is where the movie The Shining was filmed, even though they say it's Glenwood in the movie. It was actually in Estes Park, filmed at the Stanley Hotel. And there is Usually about 3,000 elk all hanging around in there because they cannot be hunted. And they are on the golf course, and they are on the sidewalks, and they are all over. You can literally just walk right up to them. They do not care, but the moment they leave Estes, they're back on alert. I'm wondering if I need to start the game in the evening or in the early morning to find the elk, which is basically the best time to hunt elk. But we've shot plenty of them around 2 o'clock too, so I've seen lots at this time of day. Yeah, they're very smart, very crafty. That's why the natives respected them so much. They were a sacred animal, just like bears, coyotes, and wolves. There are not many prey animals that were considered especially sacred, except for being the representation of a food source like buffalo and stuff. But elk are revered. Or were. They still are by people who hunt them. Because they're damn hard to hunt. Also, some rain or something would help. I wonder if I'm close enough to the lodge for my inventory stuff. Nope. If only I had an elk call. But I don't. Well, I have no idea where that elk went. Outsmarted again. I wonder if there's a way to advance time at the cabin without closing the hunt and starting it again. Yeah. Maybe the deer will let me join them. Be like, yeah, you're harmless. Spread enough deer urine on everything anyways. Alright. No, you can. It's probably the least efficient way, but as I don't have any elk calls or anything, which is what I'm going for right now is elk, but there's more things I can do with white-tailed deer, which is what I was thinking of doing, but I don't know if I can change any of that without closing out the game. But actually, I think I can add it. I may just have to Alt-Tab out for a second. But no, when you're hunting most things, it's not the most efficient way. I was just trying to get that first elk point. The very first milestone for it is to get a female elk, a cow, and that's what I was trying to get so I could open up some more of the other stuff. But I don't really know enough about the game. Like I said, I haven't played it that much. and when I did it was a while ago, about how to buy different calls. I can buy in-game money or I can earn it. So I was trying to earn it through the quests to get things like calls. But with elk, in real life, it's not a bad way to hunt elk. If you don't mind sitting for hours on end, that's probably the more efficient way to do it. But I'm not one of those people. Usually when we're elk hunting, it's so cold, to sit that long is just brutal. And so it's better to just keep moving and hike around. But I think I'll go back to the cabin and try to find if there's a way I can change things out. But no, I'm pretty sure the most efficient way for hunting elk in this would be to get up in one of those observation towers and have an elk call and be there at the right time of day when they're moving, which is in the evening just before it gets dark and in the morning just before it gets light. Those are usually the times when elk are most active. So I just keep walking around the cabin. I actually meant to be going towards it, but I overdid my auto walk. Okay, now I'm at the thing. So I can switch out my guns and stuff. So collars. I have hog, I have moose, and I have deer. And I don't know if I can do anything about it. Let's see. I have 300 in-game points, and I don't know how I got it. Let's see. Collars. I'm shopping real fast, so ignore me. Talk amongst yourselves and all that. Is there a way to search? I guess not. Elk bugle collar. There we go. That one. What? It says I have money, but I don't have money. Right. Maybe I have to actually exit the game first. So... Oh, that's... Oh, game money and... Oh, okay, I see. Aha, whoops. So... So they are all requiring real money, I believe. So... What can I do with game money? No idea. Well, alright, enough of that. It's back to finding things. Yeah, I like to take my time with new games, and it's an experience, this game. And I've seen people play, like Bane Williams, the new version of this, and it's impressive. It's probably the most realistic hunting simulator. But this one is, like I said, it's free to play, so you can grab it and get going. And thanks, yeah. I've been hunting for years, but there's still so much to learn. It's crazy. That's what happens when I go in here. I don't own any lodges. Okay. Dock. Okay. Let's see if I can. Guess not. I think I have to end the hunt in order to change it. I don't know if I'm going to do that. But I did find something for game money. I just can't find it now. Okay. Services. Oh, okay. Some things are game money. Yeah. Oh, some of those are. What's going on now? So the sprays are many game monies, but the collars are not available. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to end things there. I need to take a breather anyways. I've been doing this for 3 hours. So I will probably be back tomorrow with something else unless anybody needs more hunting simulator tomorrow. But leave me a message or throw me a follow or whatever if you want to see when I'm back on. And thanks everybody for watching. And I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.